there, it's Linda from Waking You again. Today's meal on a budget, we are going to make a sausage pasta. It's going to be made with some pork bratwurst. I was able to get it for $2 off because it goes off in the next couple of days. It's a good money-saving tip. I also got a jar of pesto sauce because it was $1 cheaper than the pasta sauce, as well as I got some pasta that was on sale at our grocery store. So I spent $10.92, but we will have half of a box of pasta available for another time. I'm also using a half an onion that I had in my fridge, as well as some of the frozen peas left over from one of our previous videos. So whatever vegetables you have at home, or don't use any, less than $11 for a meal that's going to feed 4 people, or in my case, I'm going to cook it up and put it into the freezer. Just to note, I am changing the format of this video a little bit today, so it will look a little bit different, but all the information will still be available for you. I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you in just a second. The first step is to place a skillet on medium-high heat on the stove. Grab your kitchen shears. It's the easiest way to get into these sausages. Sausages are a lot cheaper typically than ground meat, so you can use sausages in place of any recipe, lasagna or that type of thing. You can also use any flavor of sausage. If you like a chicken and apple sausage, you can use that. These were just a pork bratwurst because they were $5.97 for the package with a $2 discount because the expiration date was coming. I did use the kitchen shears to slice through the casing on the sausage. It's the easiest way to get the sausage meat into the pan. And the pan is preheating here. Unfortunately, the pan took a few extra minutes to heat up, so it doesn't look very warm in the video. But we're just got the sausages here and ready to go. I was washing my hands at this point because I completely forgot to put my gloves on. It's much easier if you're using your gloves. So we're going to get a utensil here to start to break up the sausage meat. And you'll use whatever tools that you have. You'll see in a moment, I go and actually get a meat tool that I use. But whatever way to break this sausage meat into more of a ground meat, the similar texture to what you would use if you were making any type of meat sauce. I'm going to go and grab that meat utensil now. I do like all of my little kitchen gadgets, so I do unfortunately have quite the assortment of them. But this just breaks the meat down a little bit easier. But you could use wooden spoon, a slotted spoon, any type of plastic utensil. You wouldn't want to use metal on your nonstick skillet that I'm using here. So we've got that all mixed up. We're going to let that brown for a couple of moments. Get that all ready to go. And while that is browning, we have a pot of water. We're going to use this pasta. They're little shells, and it has an 8-minute cook time on it. We have brought the water to a boil. So for the 8 minutes that this takes to cook, we will continue to brown that sausage meat. Give that little bit of stir here. Again, we're going to let this cook for 8 minutes, and that's about as long as it's going to take us to finish up our sauce. So we're back to the sauce. We have the sausage meat about halfway browned. So we're going to then toss in our chopped up onions. And we're going to let that cook a little bit, brown up all of the meat, and start to brown those onions until they become a little bit translucent. We want to get a little bit of flavor going here. You don't need to add any extra salt or pepper because the sausage is seasoned as well. So now we have all of our meat nice and browned. The onions have softened and are becoming translucent. This is when we're going to put in our peas. We're just adding the peas now because they are fully cooked. They don't need to be cooked in the meat. We don't want them to become mushy. So it's just a matter of getting them warmed up. So we've got those all stirred together. Give it a nice little mix. You could choose to drain your meat if your sausages were more on the fatty side, but these actually were quite lean, so I decided not to drain the meat and onions. So now we have that nice and mixed. We're going to toss in the pesto sauce. I went with a sun-dried tomato pesto because that flavor profile works a little bit better with the bratwurst that I had chosen. If I had a more mild sausage, maybe something with maple in it, I would have gone with more of the traditional basil pesto. But because I was using a more intense flavor for my sausage, I figured the sun-dried tomato pesto would work really well. So I've got that entire jar of pesto in here. We're going to stir it up, get it all nice and combined. And as we're doing this, our pasta is just about done. It's been roughly that 8-minute mark. So we're going to get this stirred up. I will drain the pasta and then we will be back to take a look and do the next step. And as I mentioned, our pasta's been drained. I've got it back in the pot. We're just going to toss the sauce in. If you were serving it on the table, maybe you would leave your pasta underneath and just ladle the sauce on top. I like to mix mine, especially when I'm putting it into the freezer for later on. It gets it all nice and combined, ensures that all of that sauce gets onto every piece of the pasta, and it's a nice mix. It'll be nice and easy to enjoy. Do a little bit of taste test here, see if there's any additional seasonings needed. You'll likely not need any salt, but I did find I needed a little bit of pepper, just given the seasoning that is in the pesto as well as the sausage. Nice final stir, and we'll be ready to dish it up. And that is what it looks like. Your pasta with sausage and pesto for $10.92. I hope you enjoy.